Beloved angel, welcome. Welcome to our Immortal Starlight Pod, episode 48. And I know I have been traveling for some time through the chapters of the Silver Wheel, and I continue to do so. I will return to the Elven Ascension sharings on a more spontaneous and free flow basis. I can feel the energy of that returning, but I would love to share the chapters of the Silver Wheel through the pod for their presence to be anchored here. It feels incredibly important and foundational to all that I share. And in this beautiful book of light, the Silver Wheel, the lost teachings of the Deerskin Book, if you're watching the YouTube, I have it here in my hand. It's just being reprinted as we speak. I keep clicking on Amazon to see if they will become available yet. I know that they are now in print, but on their way, I guess, from the publisher to all of the stockists. So yeah, I'll let you know as soon as that's out. But the core beautiful teachings of this book that are absolutely foundational to the ascension process that we are undergoing from the most beautiful, rare, and earthen perspective. I feel so much of our ascension teachings and world comes from a higher or a star perspective, and this is so much from an earthen point of view, and from the earthen and the elven point of view, of great cycles of light, of long loving the earth and knowing her great eras of starlight, of sunlight that have been. For this ascension isn't a vast cosmic rescue mission coming in to save an earth that has never awoken. It is another cosmic wave of light in great cycles that have been in the blossoming of earth, and her immortal starlight beauty has shone through many an age, as remembered by the elder starlight kin, one of whom are the elven. And so they share these exquisite teachings from that perspective that so much awakens within our earth now, that in truth has been awoken long since and before, and is now blossoming forth, arising forth for a new cycle of light. And so I just adore this perspective. For me, it is the place from which, and the only place from which, I love to view our ascension. For as one who walks the earth, who lives here, this feels the most honoring and beautiful way of celebration of this ascension, of this shift in octave that we can walk. And I realize that for many, their affinities will be different, and I totally honor that. But for me, this is my deepest heart's passion, to walk this way and to share the ascension from this perspective. So the sixth teaching of the Deerskin Book really relates to this blossoming of our ancient body of light, of the original angelic blueprint of our human form, of our DNA. And it teaches that we have entered a very suppressed or compressed phase of expression of that which we are, and that bodies forth physiologically. You see it in the way our bodies express. And as we enter our ascension, we are flowering back into our full light body, our full energetic expression, which then produces our shining physical form and body of light. So if you think of the legends of the tall ones, of the giants, of these great shining ones, luminous in form, that is in fact the ascended body of light that we are awakening into once more. And it literally generates a new physical expression. Ourselves as shining ones, shining in our immortal starlight, walking this earth once more. So it's a deeply natural process. It's happening within the spheres of nature and within ourselves. Speaking of which, it's not always comfortable. With last night, I was up, and the night before. I'm a good sleeper, very, very rare, but awake through much of the night with the intense light waves coming in. And I could feel, again, this deep cellular recreation taking place. So it's very intense, these beautiful light waves coming from source, coming from the stars beyond, activating this incredibly beautiful, ancient, and yet it's absolutely new expression blossoming for the dawn, blueprint and template within ourselves, within our cellular bodies. An unutterably beautiful process. Can really breathe through, keep aligning with love, your immortal starlight, that one who you are, and opening, flowering into this new expression of your light and your ancient self, your skills, your wisdom, your gifts. So I'm in danger of teaching a whole pod before I begin the reading. I better embark because it does take a while to flow through the whole chapter. There are only 13 chapters in the Silver Wheel, and so each one of them is quite long and usually takes about an hour to read. So I will embark and share this, feeling what resonates, letting it move through, drift through, activate. It is a deeply light encoded remembrance. And so you'll feel this at the level of light as I read, even as you feel it as information coming through your mind and speaking to your soul. So the sixth teaching, this is the sixth teaching of the Deerskin Book. The flowers contain the beauty of the truths of our energetic fields. They remind us of who we are and the patterns we hold. They mirror the crystalline matrices of light with which we generate the hologram of our physical bodies. And there's the glyph of this chapter. You're watching the YouTube. I'm just showing that page with the glyph upon it. Chapter 6. Blue smoke of wood fire, a tattoo of torn sound, a tasseled silence. The sixth teaching of the Deerskin Book is that we share geometric form with the flowers and angelic patterns of consciousness. In our true appearance, we are akin to the white flower blooming delicately and six-petaled in the woodland that so strikes the heart with its beauty. This wind flower, this wood anemone, is ourselves. This is what the flowers have to teach us, our true nature. They are avatars at this time. Their place in creation is not peripheral or ornamental. It is an expression of cosmic truth that can bring vast healing and insight to us. We can listen to the flowers who also have evolved over millennia to this moment upon the earth, drinking in the messages of sunlight and starlight. They have achieved a perfection of form that is mirrored by our energy fields. They are ourselves seen through a different lens. This gives us some idea of the beauty of our awakening energy fields. They are like radiant, many-starred petals reaching out into the universe, constellations of communication and connection. They are very beautiful, and they are still evolving and awakening to their perfect expression. We should set no limit upon our true appearance in this dimension, but every time we experience the beauty of a flower, we are being shown a glimpse of this dimension of ourselves. The more we allow this beauty to filter into our awareness, the more we facilitate its manifestation. This is a path of natural cultivation. We recognize the appropriate mirrors of our light bodies when they appear to us. These beings mirror the light holograph of our evolution. The flowers particularly act in this way at this time because they embody very high and delicate frequencies that correspond to our outermost fringes of growth. The areas in which we are really stepping free from density into connection with the universe. This corresponds to the very high frequency of the silver wheel, the portal opening up between us and other galaxies. This brings us full incarnational memory and a remembrance of original purpose. The wild and ancient flowers of woodland, mountain, and meadow are especially our allies at this time, as they embody the actuality of highly evolved coexistence within complexity. Theirs is the patient arrival at a very high level of expression. There are times when we have experienced the beautiful epiphanies of the divine, the times when we truly felt our own illumination. Then the clouds, the veil descend once more, and we feel bereft and afraid, powerless and confused. We have experienced something else, yet as hard as we search, we cannot find it again. This quest is our resistance to the blossoming. We do not want to pay attention to the path beneath our feet, to trust in its perfection, because we have a preconception of what the dawn involves. The Deerskin teachings do not deny or conceal the beauty that is our natural inheritance. This exists in a dance with our ordinariness, with everything that has been before. We must allow for the natural rhythms of growth, for the waxing and waning of the moon within us. A quietness can come, a lull. We may feel suddenly cast into shadow once more. There is the resurgence of old thoughts and feelings. We condemn ourselves for this. We lose faith in our ability to transform. Look at the cherry blossom arising in the spring, at the gradual opening of the flowers through days of sunlight and rain. There is the sense that spring is arriving, and then suddenly the clouds return and the days darken, and we feel lost in a storm of winter that is relentless in its hold. Yet, what quiet magnificence those cherry buds hold. They never give up in their quiet unfoldment. They keep coming up through the alternations of warmth and cold. We barely notice it happening, and yet suddenly there is a blaze of pale blossoms where before there was none. We know then that all the alchemies of sun and spirit never ceased visiting us here upon the earth. That abandoned hour has never yet occurred. Let this softness exist also. Let this gradual quietness in evolution have its place in you also. We need this quietude, this quiescence, as much as the sun fire of illumination. This is patience. This is calm. This is a part of the nature of the symbols of the teachings. They are woven over great aeons of heart and mind. They are evolved over expanses, mighty expanses of simple existence. This is why we know them also as the elders. They have this quietude of earned wisdom, this integration of a slow blossoming throughout the universe. Theirs is the patience of the cherry blossom, an innate participation in the cycles of natural and appropriate timing. What is this but the dreaming of the heart of the universe itself, transpiring through us? Each of us shall see what we see through the faculties and the vision gifted to us. The elders will attune to us gradually as the sunlight begins to take residence within us. We hear them more and more, these angelic presences. We feel the brush of their touch, the whisper of their thoughts. We feel their guidance and companionship. Suddenly we are no longer a bare tree, but flowering with ancient elder grace. There is a bone-shaking quality to the moments when we touch upon our own destiny, the flower of ourselves. We are stirred by a profound emotion, a feeling of deep joy and sorrow all at once. We are touching upon our place in creation, and this we long for in a way that sweeps us like a thunderstorm. It frightens us as much as it inspires us. This is the profound power inherent in beauty, love, and peace. This path requires incredible courage, incredible faith, and integrity. Your dedication and certainty increase as you go along, and less do the storms of unreality sweep you. You feel a compassion for those who resist their destiny. You know the suffering it brings them. You know the clouds and veils of confusion that attend this choice. They have been indoctrinated to turn away from themselves and the true nature of reality, programmed with a different account of who they are and the purpose of their existence upon this earth. When we come to awareness of the moments in existence when we accepted the wrong signposts, accepted the indoctrinations of tribe and family, we can be torn by an incredible grief. It is searing to realize how divergent is the reality, and to recall the natural attunement to this reality that we abandoned, leading ourselves down many an awkward trail. It is a searing realization that it was, indeed, our own choice. Then we face that shocking hurdle within ourselves. Do we really want to undo the conditioning to the old world into whose stories we are woven? More than anything, it has become familiar. It has become known. We cannot see ourselves without it. What dawn can possibly follow such an extinction? We wish to perpetuate our old perspective, our old existence. We are caught between longing and fear, a primeval battle for vision within us. Why should we ever have become afraid of vision, afraid of returning to our original nature? It is as though a final seal lies upon our remembrance, and it is we who have placed the seal there, we who have chosen to limit vision. This seal is coming undone. Gradually, this is opening up a vast casket of memory and awareness. It shall come to us naturally, and it is happening even as I write. The conditions becoming auspicious, it is time. We feel the flower of our light bodies firing into crystalline brilliance, extending our light and capacity for communication. This is our preparation, and it is the gift of the sun, the earth, and the stars. Just as we need it, a spiritual practice or a piece of wisdom shall come to us. We shall find ourselves surrendering that final resistance, that island of the self. We shall see that we were never apart. A hawk set free, we become one with the sky. This is the hour of effortlessness, of natural mind. It is a gentle blossoming, and the elders amongst us are taking up our places, are rising to take on their mantle. We come from nowhere, yet our journeys have been long, and not a moment has been wasted. This is the inheritance of our natural capacities that take us as a storm of surprise, and also as something we always knew. We are the shining ones, and the hidden knowledge is emerging. It is no longer hidden in the mounds beneath the earth. It is no longer encoded in our distant past, in far incarnations. Inspiration comes to us in a flood of remembrance. The stars at our brow flame to life, and the deer walks the forest once more. There is nothing we can do to resist this. It is the legacy of our lifetimes of dedication. It is the fulfillment of original purpose. We see with golden eyes the lines of the stars, and we know where we come from. There is no illusion possible for us. We cannot be captured ever again. There can be no longer any false limitation placed upon the account of who we are. It simply does not work. The lies slide off us like raindrops caught into their own gravity. The earth has fulfilled her vision to become the cosmic tree, to unfold an entire reality. She is able to be everything, all the heavens and all the earth. There is no dimensional limitation to the earth experience. She branches upward through the heavens, touching all the spheres of time, space, and eternity. Other suns glow as her flowers, her leaves, and she is the wisdom of all dimensions. We each have our own enlightenment within us, and we must not fear to learn from the flowers. At every moment, in every age, there are teachings gifted that are most suitable for us. At this time, the flowers have so much to teach. We allow for individuality, complexity, as well as profound simplicity. We allow for the manifestation of individual vision. We allow for the directness of inspiration, even in the smallest detail. Who else shall we trust? To whom else shall we defer this authority? Our torches of inspiration are lit, one to another in a sacred unfolding of light. Who is to say who is the muse and who the artist? Who the teacher and who the student? We seem to have all of this within us. We let these perfect geometries of self and other unfold. This is the lesson of the forest, of the wild flower. The attunements of light ripple out from one hand to another. There is a divine choreography at work, and eventually it is our own unfolding we witness with astonishment as we become the orchid unfolding her ancient and unforgotten harmonies, ancient because they have borrowed from every dawn, every arising, and are still here in this moment. There is a fullness, there is an effortless sophistication, there is an allowance of one's own improbable beauty. It requires no pride, no defense, no hiding, no humility. There is no denial, only the effortless benefit that this bestows on all around, the unique medicine of the flower, its blessing, beneficence, and healing power. Gradually, these attunements are filtering into our lives. They shall become more and more available, and the language of the flowers, especially the orchid, more and more apparent and harmonious to us. The flowers are our ancestors and descendants. They are the receptive tissue and fabric of our world, receiving transmissions moment to moment, drinking in the messages of earth through their roots, transmissions of minerals and ancient stardust. They continuously receive the messages of starlight, absorbing the incoming frequencies of sun, moon, and stars. They download their celestial templates, flowering uniquely as we are meant to do, giving their beauty to this world. The celestial template is our own original blueprint, our starflower aura. We carry our aura within us. It is seeded within us, even as the seed contains the blueprint of the petals it will birth. The aura is our other dimensional presence. What inspires the aura? In so many people, it diminishes as life goes on. Instead, how might it evolve and grow? It needs spring water, sunlight, and soil infused with an infinitesimal abundance of minerals and nutrients. The aura is an atmospheric palace of immortal star petals, an ancient fairy body, a diaphanous first body. It is the interiority of the original self, composed of a brilliant light. Within you, the ancient flower of your aura is stored. Unleash this capsule, discover its stored secrets. You discover that your auric presence expands the worlds of earth, interfusing with her ancient dream and bringing forth new realms of expression. Open the realm of this flower and discover who you are and how your essence needs to manifest in order to experience true spiritual fulfillment. Discover the hues and nuances of your immortal aura, your auric starflower. This is your portal between worlds, your traveling starship. You learn that you love, breathe, move within this sanctuary, opening its ancient halls and corridors, its interdimensional brilliance and loveliness. These are the hallowed realms of your original contract with Earth. Your aura is rooted in the rich soils of Earth, drinking from her waters and taking in her nutrients. It is in the shining realms of your aura that you will meet with the great shining ones, the angelic ones who are guardians to Earth's evolution. Here we find our ancient capacity for love. Our flower auras are activated at this time by the incoming starlight frequencies, dimensions of sensitivity we have perhaps not been able to utilize to our benefit in this last aeon. Yet, there are now emerging optimum conditions for sophisticated sensitivity and receptivity. When we have access to this subtle sensitivity, we can begin truly to respond to the needs of others and ourselves. Our petals, our auric and ethereal aspect may seem the peripheral part of ourselves, but it is actually our original impulse of becoming. It is the way we arise as individuals from the infinite. Our brilliant auric winged presence is being evoked and summoned into this world. The full flowering of your angelic aura is occurring. All its golden-hued and rainbow magnificence is stepping into this dimension and irrevocably changing this world. Your immense presence can no longer be restrained, and in every moment there is a rewiring happening that facilitates your full auric participation in this world. There are brilliant starflowers that grow in the Silver Grove. They are falling to us, arriving to us as timed capsules that activate our full auric sensitivity As an awakening elder, you receive these star flowers that ignite the timeless and loving intention of your heart. Your ancient hands stretch out, and from the heavens these star flowers fall. They glow there in your palms. They are radiant messages of hope, saying, "It is time, it is time." You feel the tremor and shiver of their energy through your infinite and beautiful body. You are being given the gift of illumination. The brilliant eternal fire of the flowers reminds you that this is a lifetime of transcendence. When the paradigm shifts irrevocably, when you are called once again to dance the invisible dance of the miraculous. The flowers burn silver and sapphire in your hands, and your ancient starflower aura is kindled. And so it is. Our ancient starflower aura is becoming accessible once more after aeons of being furled. These auric petals have remained mostly other dimensional through this last era. Now there is the potential to realize the auric starflower here in this dimension. A constellation of conditions shall occur within your life to make this possible, along with signature gateways that occur when your aura downloads into this world. When we open our aura, we become increasingly sensitive to that which was entirely hidden to us before. Thus awakened, we move differently upon the earth, suddenly aware of pathways that were not previously accessible. When the sacred geometry of the aura is awakened, we begin to travel differently. Our orientation and compass alters so that we sense a whole new tracery of movement upon the earth. Our motivation for action shifts to fulfill the calls of this radiant compass. You shall travel from flower to flower, learning the lost wisdom of earth. The flowers shall teach you how to unfold your interdimensional presence. You learn how to maintain this radiant and delicate aura by following its paths of inspired movement. The starflower aura is the sail of a spirit canoe that can traverse dimensions. It is built of delicate tissue, the fabric of the petal. We shall have many encounters with flowers where our auras merge to create unique unseen worlds. There is a layering and overlapping, codes spilling into one another, a fusing. Flowers stimulate our forgotten periphery, inspiring our edges to unfold, unfurl. They call us across the boundary into territory previously unmarked. There are key places where the ancient star gardens of Earth are due to re-emerge. There are those who carry the seeds of these magical gardens within them, and when they arrive at the right place at the right time, they shall plant these gardens. We shall see the emergence of miraculous and living realities that have previously seemed improbable or dreamlike. I notice a pale glimmer in the leaves at my feet. I sift through them. There, lying half buried in the debris of the woodland floor, is a white petal. I pick it up between my fingers and lay it in the palm of my hand. I peer up into the canopy, looking for the stem from which this might have fallen. There is nothing but the heavy green foliage of summer. I scan the clearing, and there on the ground a few yards away is another pale glimmer. Cradling the first petal in my hand, I cross over and pick up a second, identical in its appearance to the first. I look up, and sure enough, a few yards further on there is another white petal, lying on the woodland floor. I am following a pathway of petals through the forest. They are scattered at short intervals, and I feel compelled to pick them up as I go. Again and again my eyes catch their pale glimmer. As I walk, I find myself suddenly standing before the grand entrance to caves, their rocks traced with quartz. Cedar trees stand all around. The cave entrances are tall, and the pathway of petals vanishes within. Their archways are carved with the symbols of the old language. I am deeply drawn to pass within. There is some sense of potency and mystery to this place. I peer within, trying to see further into the cavern beyond. There is the sudden whiteness of a figure that moves. Startled, I hold my breath for a moment, sensing the nature of this presence. As she steps into the torchlight, I recognize the figure in her tasseled shawl, its weft of petals and raw silks. I know deep within myself, this is a returning otherness, a flower arrived from distant stars. She is one of the elven ones, connected to the nativity of our wings, our other dimension. Her eyes are slanting and golden, seeking out mine. It is she who scatters the petals I follow, her aura of angels, her deep eyes. There are worlds within worlds, she speaks. Would you travel within to discover what exists beyond? What are these petals I am finding? Where do they come from? I ask her. She does not answer, but turns from me and passes into the cavern. It does not seem to me that there is a choice. This is what I have been seeking throughout the forest. I stand at the entrance to the cavern, peering inside. The grey walls rise up, a riven mass. I can feel that this is a portal to elven realms. These are halls and corridors where delicate feet tread and travel. I pass within, and there stands the elven one, waiting for me. Her eyes flash in the last of the daylight, and she raises her hand, indicating the path forward into the darkness. She walks ahead of me slowly, and I have to alter my pace to match hers. The cavern tapers into a long corridor that turns and turns deeper into the earth until I am immersed in the darkness. I cannot see anything at all. I have no idea of the dimensions of this place, and even my companion is invisible beside me. Then I perceive something glowing faintly silver in the darkness ahead. I move towards it. It is lying on the ground a few yards in front of me. As I get closer, I see that there is a white petal on the floor of the cavern, and into it is etched a silvery symbol. I stoop down to pick it up, and when I open my palm to place it with the others, I see that they are all glowing, each with unique silver etchings. I now hold at least a dozen in my hand, and as I stand up, I perceive another lying ahead of me in the darkness. I realize that the trail leads on, leading me further into the cavern. Are you still there? I call to my companion, for I can no longer feel her presence at my side. There is no answering call. I hesitate for just a moment and then continue, alone, following the trail of petals. The cavern narrows to a steeply descending tunnel. I progress awkwardly, running my hand along the jutting rocks of the walls. Occasionally there is another petal, and I pick it up, laying it carefully with the others. They glow in a bundle of frail slivers in my hand, the tissue of the petals fresh, each one slightly curved like tiny boats. Despite my awkwardness, I move with a suspended quietness. I feel that I am stalking the silence, my breathing almost stilled as the tunnel winds ever deeper into the earth. I am progressing through an empty citadel, its inhabitants either not present or hiding beyond view. Yet there is an atmosphere of intention, and this is not an abandoned place. Finally, the floor begins to even out, and then I am entering a grandly proportioned cavern. It is illumined by its own emanation coming from the walls. They appear at first glance to be hewn of grey rock, yet on closer inspection, I notice that they are an endlessly translucent and cloudy quartz, a depth of crystal that I have never seen before. It is a crystal cavern that extends high overhead with a floor of sandy earth. I step into the center, with the precious cargo still held in my hand. Now cupped between both palms, so many petals have I gathered here. I walk to the center of the cavern and sit down cross-legged on the sandy floor. The power of the crystal walls presses in all around. I lay out the petals in a loose mandala and sit, gazing at the formation for long moments. I gently touch the muted radiance of the symbols, tracing them with my fingertips. I am trying to discern the outlines of the markings. They are traced with filigree precision as though they grew there. I become aware of their subtle message murmuring to realms far beyond this one. I close my eyes and sit in stillness, listening to that which filters through into awareness. There is the sound of a spring dripping in the distance. There are the great walls with their song of crystal and hidden light. I become aware of a transmission emerging from beneath the floor of the cavern. From behind closed eyelids, I see 5 elliptical emerald forms placed in a wider mandala around the circumference of the cavern. They are sending up a song, a transmission, to the mandala of petals, activated, it seems, by their presence. It is a whispering communion in the old language, passing between the petals and the hidden emerald forms. The whole atmosphere of the cavern is altering, caught up into this mandalic communion. I become aware of them throughout the cave, 5 emerald forms hidden beneath the earth, glowing with silver ciphers somewhere under the sandy floor. Half opening my eyes, yet guided more by the sight than ordinary vision, I move to one of the places where the emerald emanations are sounding, and I start scraping away the sand. Not far beneath the surface lies a brittle shell, like an encrusted cocoon of fired sand. It cracks beneath my fingers, and as the shards fall away, I perceive a brilliant emerald glow within. It is an emerald sepal, one of the tiny leaflets that forms a flower's calyx. It is as fresh as though it grew there, still attached to the flower. With sudden conviction, I lower my hand into the hollow and gently between two fingers lift up the sepal and laying it in my cupped palm. The sepal feels weightless and unimaginably fragile in my hand. It is sending whispers through me, murmuring of its long earth sleep and the other silvery dimensions. Another language fills my awareness, an evocation of some wondrous compassion. It is an expression of love, so subtle and fine, an infinite patience, some spiritual grace, a lost harmonic. There is a patience here, an infinite patience through the thousands of years that this ethereal beauty has been hidden. One by one, I uncover the hollow places beneath the floor where the sepals are stored. In all, there are 5 hollows holding the silver-etched sepals. A great whispering fills the cavern. The 5 sepals lie on the palm of my hand. They begin to glow brightly, and I see that they are drawing together, fusing at their center to become once again a complete calyx. A wild warmth fills my hand as I gaze at this emerald star that has formed. I return to sit beside the mandala of petals. The silver ciphers are becoming ever more vibrant. The cavern is filled with magic, a sense of impending wonder. I lay down the emerald calyx at the center of the petals. A delicate fusion begins to take place. The sepals and the petals are becoming woven together. The petals whirl into place, settling into the calyx layer upon layer. It is a white rose, multi-layered petal upon white petal, with golden stamens sprouting from the center. The flower emits a tremendous radiance and purity. Its layered depth of elven inscriptions giving a silvery ambience to the petals. It is a rose, and yet not like any known flower of the earth. A scent rises from it as of neroli and amber, and yet stranger as of the past and quite another time. It offers a light all of its own, a dim emanation coming from the silver markings within the petal. It is a familiar beauty. I sit spellbound by this apparition. Without being able to resist, I scoop it up into my hands and cradle it to my heart, drinking in its scent and otherworldly presence. I have braved the ancient corridors of the earth to hold this most fragile of flowers in my hand. This is the geometry that sculpts everything. I become aware that these are the lost elven petals, capable of translocating from this realm into the worlds of other stars. They are like tiny spirit canoes or starships, and they came to Earth many aeons ago and have patiently dwelt here within the earth until the conditions would make them visible once more. The voice of my vanished companion sounds out, her elven footfalls arriving behind me. This flower is one of your previous incarnations. It is one of the earliest forerunners of your lineage, and one of your most remote earthly ancestors. You have not always needed to incarnate in human form. but have been willing to bear witness to the earliest emergent life forms on this planet. At one point you arrived as this flower from another star world, one of the myriad inspirational gifts that have arrived on Earth from other spheres. You were seated here and brought the gifts of love and design that you embodied, so that they could become part of the evolutionary tapestry of life on Earth. Many species have thus volunteered to offer their blueprint to the emerging organic web of life. This starflower is your ancestor. You are its descendant. You are here to complete its offering, its vow of inspiration. This knowledge has been fragmented and scattered across the planet, the knowledge of our true lineages and lines of origination. This does not matter because a direct remembrance, a direct knowing is being gifted at this time. We notice how the trails of our origination are always manifesting around us. Our etheric selves can never be fully lost. I feel the delicate labyrinth of the petals extending, a map of inner distances that flows out all around me in all directions. It is a rewoven inner palace, its corridors stretching out around me, the etheric layers of a lost citadel. This is my own lost aura into which I step. It is an infinite depth given to me. I surrender to the buffetings of an electric response that shimmers through my skin. It is a boundary of infinite distances. I am awakening to the luminous moment where space ceases to be simple and becomes layered, gaining a luminous depth as of petals. Here, I stand within the pearly intricacies of the elven petals. It is a mandala of light, an etheric shimmering flower with which I am imbued and surrounded. I feel warmth traveling down the veins of the flower, connecting with me. It is an exquisite galaxy of petals with an ever-expanding boundary that is an extension of my physical body. I remember this. I remember this as the immutable, but with traces of movement written into its stillness. This is the bringing of our slowest selves to crystal. This is how I become the pearlescent dawn. This is the origin, the ancient, to which I am drawn and from which I travel. So beautiful to share this teaching. I feel it holds the mystery of our ascension wrought within this one chapter, and the return to who we truly are, the mystery of that etheric and energetic unfoldment that is taking place within us, that deepest return of who we are in our multi-dimensionality, soul and self. May this bless infinitely your return as the one who you are for all the worlds upon the earth at this hour of the dawn. E karakyan thar hinanamera kyara tanania thar kinaratien and namar ki ocean, and the blossoming of your star flower aura for the dawn of worlds. Kanonar ohianater. With so much love, and I shall see you next time. Farewell for now.